So welcome, 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 our brilliant and beloved colleague, Dr. Green. I so appreciate the consistent leadership and tenacity and your visionary leadership, sir. And as always at Setsi, we begin all things by giving thanks to our creator, by giving thanks to the original stewards of the various lands we're on. We give thanks to all our ancestors, all those who toiled without compassion or compensation. We give thanks to all our elders and community stalwarts whose shoulders we stand on as we build, share, and learn together for our collective liberation and sovereignty. So, Dr. Green, can you please share a little bit about your background and remarkable work with our listeners and viewers?
Sure, I can. And first, let me say I am honored and privileged to be here with you today. It's a blessing, and I thank God for this opportunity, open doors like this, where I can come and talk a little bit about the work. A little bit about myself. I came to this country from Jamaica at a young tender boy. Did all my schooling here in Canada, and then once I graduated from high school, George Harvey down in Toronto. I went on to study law and security administration. And following that, I had some time at the airport and some time in the police force, and then some time wherein that I also spent some time being an adjudicator with the Health Review and Appeal Board. But in all of that, trying to pursue my dreams of what I love most is, I became in the midst of that became, a minister, an advocate for our Black community, and one of the things that I'm really truly happy about is the journey that I have been on, really to carry out this mission, because it was a vision. And what inspired me while I was working in law enforcement, I saw there was a need for helping many of Black youths that was on the street, and not only in the street, they were not making what I call right decision or proper decision. And then I was moved, and knowing that myself came to this country to a single mother, four siblings of us, and when I first got here, lived in the nice rich here in Western Village, wherein that I didn't see nobody that looks like me. I had to go to different place to see that. But when we moved into Jane and Finch, when I started high school, and things really got rough when my mom couldn't work anymore because of illness, and it was for a time, when that we had to survive and the different and find different ways of how we get to school, back home, and so forth. And I wanted to make a difference, and I told my mom at the time. I said to her, something, I'm gonna make you proud. And I kept saying that. My older brother wanted to give up, and he actually quit school to go work because he felt that he needed to do that to help the family. But I just kept the pace. There was days when my brother, when I get up and I would walk all the way from Jane and Finch to Eglinton and Kiel, early morning, just basically to get to school, to make sure that I was going to school. And many times during that journey, I've heard negative comments from various different teachers, and the fact that I was not gonna go too far in life. And it was every time that I hear those negative and stereotype speaking, it is what pushed me and what drive me to continue going. So so we're here today, and where we are. So I don't know if you want me to get into a little bit about the work, but I'll wait for your next question. But that's what's driving me. It was the fact that I constantly hear I was not going to go anywhere. I was not going to make it, and I didn't have the ability to do this. I had a learning disability. These are the stuff that kind of motivated me to keep going.
That's incredible, sir. And you spoke of George Harvey. I actually ran a program there when I was younger. I worked in Rexdale with a youth group called Rexdale Adolescent Warriors, and they built a social enterprise catering company. So I heard George Harvey. I'm like, those are my old stomping grounds when I was a frontline.
Well, there you go. Yes.
Almost 20 years ago. Yeah, so that's absolutely incredible. Your body of work, your journey from Jamaica to law enforcement, to ministry, and just the fact that you're obviously being led, and this is vocational work. So again, I give thanks to our creator, our ancestors, for guiding your steps and protecting you and preserving you in terms of these remarkable endeavors and the clear impacts that you and the leaders in your organization are having on communities. Once again, I give thanks, sir.
Thank you.
So my next question is, what challenges and barriers do you and your colleagues face in your work? And what are some of the ways that you're working to overcome some of these challenges and barriers?
So, and I will start off with some of the main points. I can tell you one of the biggest challenge, especially free-for-all community services. As you know, we were a free-for-all foundation. We eventually just rebranded in February on to serve the community better based on the work that we're doing. And we started off just to help our youths to make a difference and so that they can take charge of their future. And that expanded into areas that we didn't think we were going to go into. We expand into serving seniors, then we expand to start serving family, and then eventually we were able to partner with Peel Children Aid Society to develop the wraparound Akuma program, and with several different partners, and now we are providing a full holistic wraparound service to the community and to the family that are in need. But one of the greatest challenges that we face as a Black-led organization is funding, and because of oftentimes if you don't have that big name, even though you're doing the work, you're making the impact, you're down in the trench, your gloves is off, you're down there right there with everyone and making that difference. The funders there's know that, and they don't take time to do those research to know who's doing the impact. They just go and they look for the names that they know that is out there in I would say the big media piece, are the names that they are accustomed to, and not really seeing who's really doing the work. And therefore you apply for funding and you get these one page, oh sorry, we didn't have enough funding, and all these things and so forth. So one of the key things for us is to have core staff, because the work that we do, we need to have core staff to able to continue to do that work. It's not good to have in transition all the time, and that the clients that you're serving after 1 or 2 years, they're seeing different people and they get accustomed to the people, and then you have to going back to do capacity development for those staff, because every time you bring on new staff, you have to do more training, more capacity development, and so forth. So that's one challenge that we face as an organization. The other thing that we face is that we partnering with other organizations, and they put us on paper and said, yes, we are partnering with you. We're going to apply for funding. We'll get the funding. We'll support you. And then the funding come, and we never heard about it. We never see a dime of that funding. And then and I can share one with you where that when they were about to do the report, they were reaching out to us. But I said, I know we were supposed to be partnering, but what happened here? So needless to say, is able to find other organization that will not only say, let's collaborate together, let's sit down and work together, but those that you can trust, those that will be honest with you. So those are one of the challenge that we have. And then not only that, for our young people is to have appropriate spaces, safe spaces for where our young people can gather without being judged. Because oftentimes the space that they're in, sometimes they go there, they don't feel comfortable. They don't feel that they can, speak their truth without being judged. And that's one of the things, because we've been on a journey to try to find a space, especially within Brampton itself, where that our youths can come to and they can feel safe, and not only feel safe, they, in a supervised environment, and where they can able to have the type of support that they need so that they can reach their full potential in life. So those are those three pieces that I can put out there right now that I see we're facing, because, and I tell you, since COVID, we have been faced with many clients who are looking to us for mental health support, because we're providing the holistic wraparound service. And oftentimes we had to send those family. We do all the best to make sure we give them all the different pieces that they need. But when it comes to that piece, we struggled for some time. But thank God to the region appeal recently, they were able to provide us some funding, so we're able to hire a mental health counselor that is on site, and that is making so much of a difference, because when we send the clients off that are especially our youths that needs those mental health support, what we find, they put them on a waiting list, and that waiting list is so long. So we want to get them immediate service, that they can get the service that they need so that they can strive. So needless to say, we got some funding, so we have somebody on board now, and we're hoping that it won't just be there for a year, that it will move on. So those are just a few of the challenges that we're facing as an organization. But that is not stopping us from doing the work that we're doing. We're continuing.
Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Thank you so much for your leadership and your candor and transparency, sir. It's a breath of fresh air. I couldn't agree more. A lot of times we look at the nonprofit sector, and sometimes there's this cycle of scarcity. And the scarcity shows up in so many ways, in attitudes and behaviors and actions. And definitely, that's such an unfortunate situation in terms of when funding is acquired through partnership and the partners aren't transparent. In that instance, I think that you should blame the funder. I think a lot of times, a funding best practice should be that if a report is due, or upon signing any resources that are allocated to organization, partners should have to sign off as well. And I think some of the innovations that need to come into the grant making space. But the only way that's going to happen is if funders are aware that these things are happening. And that's not something new. That's happened to my organization many times. I've just been too humble to attack the org or reach out to the funder. And I don't believe in scarcity. I believe in abundance. But many times I've been asked for a support letter, endorsement letter. We're going to put you in a line item in the budget. No problem. I see the application, even help with the application, to hear nothing back. But and then you see
well, I'm telling you, so you know what I'm talking about, here, and yes, definitely, I'm hoping that can change in the future. And I'm hoping right now in the region appeal, they have this table called the B3 table, which supposed to be now developing an organization wherein that they will get the funding, and then from there they distribute the funding to the people that are truly doing the work. Hope that will work.
Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Once again, and congratulations on the work with the region appeal. Because it's not always very easy to engage municipalities or the province or the feds around resourcing. So once again, congrats. So my second last question, what is your ultimate goal, and what does success look like and feel like to you and your colleagues?
So the ultimate goal and success, I can tell you that I just did our AGM last week, Thursday, and looking at the number of family that we have impacted their life for 2023, I believe if I was to say yes, from starting with 35 young person when we first started, and now to see that we and just tell you the wraparound service itself served over 100 and something family last year. Our STEM program, 200 and something youths. Our sports and rec program, 1,200. I'm just rounding off the number. We gave out enough, and I'm just not going to go through all the program, but enough food basket last year to the community that would turn out to $1.8 million in grocery bags. And to me, from where we came from, with a $250 budget, that is success. But the ultimate goal for us to be successful is to have a place that Free for All Community Service will hone, where our clients, our young people can come and call that home. And that's my future goal before I retire. Somehow, some way, I'm gonna go knock some doors, myself and the team, and we intend to make that dream come alive.
Ashe, Amen, Amin, Hotep, all of the words. That is a beautiful, beautiful vision and story of resilience and tenacity from a $250 budget to such tremendous impact and leadership. So once again,
And now we're over 1 million.
that's incredible. Congratulations, sir. I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
all that you're doing for so many and your consistent leadership, you know, as an elder in the community, as a leader, as a stalwart, you make our ancestors proud. So my last question, do you have any closing thoughts or calls to action for our listeners and our viewers?
Definitely. One of the thing that I would say, we need to continue as an organization, as a community, as a people of color. We need to continue to raise our voice. We need to find ways and means and how we come together, work together as one. And we cannot be silenced under injustice that has been done to our children, to our family, and our community. We gotta speak, and we gotta speak loud. We gotta make our voices heard. But the only time we're gonna be we will able to do that successfully is when we come together and unify our communities so that we can get the work done. It's time to tear down some walls and start moving mountain within our community, that our children and the future generation can see that, where they can say, yes, we truly have risen.
Ashe. Ellery, I give thanks for all that you do. You're inspiring, and you're definitely ushering an opportunity for young people in our community and for residents to be able to have the supports and the infrastructure they vitally need, especially in times of crisis. I'm a firm believer that we shouldn't be cultivating relationships or being stewards of service when a crisis happens. That work has to happen before a crisis.
Yes.
So when a crisis
definitely
happens, get prepared as a community. So
yeah.
once again, I just applaud the work that you're doing. I know that I'm sure it's a huge toll on your beautiful and remarkable family. I can only imagine the amount of sacrifices made, because there's so many men and women and others like you doing this work, and it's a road that's sometimes lonely and with deep sacrifice. So once again, I just give thanks for your commitment to community economic development and your commitment to marginalized, underserved communities across our great city and across our nation. As always, at Setsi, we close the way we began this conversation by giving thanks to our creator, by giving thanks to the original stewards of the various lands we're on. We give thanks to all our ancestors, all those who toiled without compassion or compensation. We give thanks to all our elders and community stalwarts who shoulders we stand on as we build, share, and learn together for our collective liberation and sovereignty. Dr. Green, I so appreciate your leadership, sir.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Much appreciated. And I can tell you this as I leave you, my brother. I want to thank my lovely wife. She has been my strength, my tower, and always behind me. And yes, you're right. She made a lot of sacrifice. So thank you. God bless you, and God bless your work. And we should connect, sometimes where we can even just break bread and share together. So thank you.